Hi, hello, welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to another episode in our deep dive into the book The Gift of Therapy by Yalom. Episode 27, about tip 27, sounding a bit more nasally than usual because I'm on the sick side of things. Tip 27, the mechanism of therapy, be transparent. This tip is a continuation of the previous tip where Yalom told us about the 3 different kinds of self-disclosure. The first one being about the mechanism of therapy, about what you do in therapy. Yalom goes against what a character in Fyodor Dostoevsky's novel The Brothers Karamazov states about how humans have this need for magic, mystery, and authority. Yalom recognizes that in Western medicine we have sometimes relied on these concepts to kind of create a sort of allure when it comes to our job. How we have these strict, grey, naked, brutal hospital wards, how we wear these long white coats. It's all to make a sense of professionality arise, a sense of I know what I'm doing, you don't know what I'm doing, but you have to trust me. And Yalom pleads us to be the complete opposite of that. In order to form the healing, authentic relationships with our clients, we need to be fully transparent. We need to be completely open about what we are trying to do in therapy and how we are trying to do it. It is hard and scary enough. It is potentially awkward enough, especially in group therapy. By being transparent about what you are going to be doing together right from the get-go, you are at least alleviating one burden already. The burden of your client sitting there not knowing what is going to happen, being scared, being anxious, being left in the dark about what is actually expected of him or her. The client has presumably never had a relationship like the one you are going to try to provide towards them, one filled with so much empathy, so much realness and authenticity, and so much unconditional positive regard. That's the type of relationship you are trying to constitute in that social microcosm together with your client. And it is often better to kind of prepare them for the shock that something like this might entail. When you, for example, give real, authentic, direct, here and now feedback about what they are doing in the therapeutic relationship and how that makes you feel. Because that is not how us humans often communicate. We are more prone to kind of take it inside of us a little bit, maybe think about it for a second, but not share what the impact actually is because we don't want to create awkwardness, we don't want to step on the other person's toes. No, in therapy, as a therapist, you are trying to work through your client's relational difficulties together, and therefore you have to really be in that relationship and show them how a relationship with them is in an authentic, accepting, and real way. So, self-disclose about the mechanism of therapy. My own thoughts. Clients rarely know what to expect from therapy. They come and sit across from you, often advised by their spouse, advised by friends, advised by their general practitioners, or in my case, in the group practice where I work, advised by their physical therapists. Physical therapists that want to manually do something with their body, want to help them exercise better, want to help them be in a better physical state. But they often realize, something on the mental side of things is not really going well here too. You might need some help. And they send them through to the psychologist. That they have the bravery to come and sit across from me or walk beside me in some cases. That is already something that should be awarded with some clarity and some concise information about what is expected from them and what I expect from them and how I am going to be in relation to them. Information about what we are doing and how we are going to do it, about the contract dimension of therapy, but also about the type of climate we are trying to create together to make that growth, make that progression in their process as easy, as smooth sailing as possible for them. The contact dimension. I often get asked by clients like, Vincent, I'm starting to lose track a bit. What are we still working on? What is our goal in therapy still? What should my goal in therapy be? And I've felt in those sessions that the only right answer to give is the real, authentic answer, is my actual thoughts about what we are doing in therapy, where we are trying to get, and how we are trying to do that together. I am not gonna try and sell my therapy to them. I am not gonna try and bombard them with scientific evidence like, yeah, this is evidence-based therapy and this article says this and this article says that. No, it is from my personal experience of what is going on between us and what is going on in their life that I will share something like, I think you still have a ways to go in making your body your ally, in really being able to get in touch with that experiential stream in your body, with those feelings and emotions, because I think there is a lot of information still there to be won for you. information you are now throwing to the wayside. You are ignoring because you think that everything is still in your head and you only need to listen to your thoughts. Or, for example, I might also tell them about there's these elements in your life, both past and present, that still seem very unclear to me. So I can imagine that they also might still seem very unclear to you. And what I still want to do with you together is try and increase the narrative coherence. When you're telling your life narrative, your life story, maybe in chapters, maybe with subheadings, maybe it's one long text, that doesn't really matter, but the coherence, the fact that it makes sense, or maybe not even the fact, the subjective feeling of it making sense, that's something I still want to increase in the way you look at yourself and your past experiences and your present experiences and maybe relationships right now, to garner trust in the effectivity of the therapy that you are trying to constitute together, and to also make sure that you are still walking along that same path, that your client is still guiding you, the blind guide, along the path they really think they themselves should be walking on. Self-disclosure about the mechanism of therapy also allows you to kind of discuss with your client whether you are still on the same wavelength there, which is, I think, very, very valuable, because it's expensive, it's time consuming, it's energy consuming, it's sometimes like mentally exhausting to the maximum. So making it as lucrative as possible, not in a money sense, but in like a getting out of therapy what you can get out of it, is essential, I think. And I think this tip is quite important to that. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.